Are you called to chaplaincy? Well, that depends on what you think it means to be a chaplain. Your personal ministry and the people that you are called to serve, your approach to serving them, your personality, core values, culture, worldview, theology, well, they all come together to have a significant impact on the work that you would do as a chaplain, and not everyone is called to be a chaplain. But for those who are, the rewards are simply out of this world. In this video, you will discover the 8 lessons covered in the course, The Basics of Chaplaincy. The work of a Christian chaplain is truly amazing. Welcome to the Chaplains Academy, a teaching ministry for Christian chaplains and coaching, and this is the Basics of Chaplaincy. We approach the ministry of chaplaincy from a distinctly biblical, evangelical, Christian worldview. And by that word evangelical, we mean that we believe the Bible is true. The gospel of Jesus Christ is truly good news. And this is important because everyone's understanding and definition of terms will be influenced by whatever their worldview is. For example, one person can use the word Christian or chaplain in a sentence and mean something very different than what a biblical evangelical Christian means when we use them in a sentence. And what do the terms spiritual and pastoral even mean? How does a person who is in spiritual distress find healing and peace? Well, in this course, you will learn what it means to serve as a biblical Christian chaplain, set apart for the mission that God has uniquely prepared you to do right where you live. There is no one else like you. You are one of a kind. Your unique combination of personality and temperament, education and cultural setting, abilities and talents, language and core values and life experiences are unlike any person who has ever lived. And yet, God still created you for a purpose. And if you're a Christian, then God has predestined you for work that will point to the glory of God. Do you know what that work is? Should you consider even becoming a chaplain? Well, let's find out. The Basics of Chaplaincy will help you understand effective ministry in general and how serving as a chaplain may enhance your ministry and open doors to opportunities. Here at Christian Chaplains and Coaching, we encourage both lay volunteer believers as well as professionals to chaplaincy. Education requirements, of course, will differ depending on the level of chaplain certification and type of job placement that you're looking for. In this course, the Basics of Chaplaincy will cover 8 specific topics. The first is Define Chaplaincy, and we'll start with clear instruction to help you understand exactly what a Christian chaplain is and is not, and what is the difference between a pastor, an evangelist, and a chaplain. They are not the same thing and should not be confused. Number 2 will be the heart of chaplaincy. You will learn about the ministry of presence and the importance of listening to understand. And since our work flows out of the gospel, do you know what it is? As a Christian chaplain, the gospel becomes our foundation, the imperative from which we do our work. Are you capable of living in your gospel identity without being judgmental or condemning of others who may believe differently from yourself? Chaplains do not engage in proselytizing. But we do share our faith. Question is, do you know how to do that? And do you know when to do that and when not to? The third section is cultural competency. Chaplains must learn to be culturally competent and sensitive to the needs of the people they serve in their context. And since we work in secular settings, we must be able to understand the culture and the language of the people we serve. In Christianity, ours is a God of relationships, so we should value relationships too. We teach our chaplains to do life in community with other people of faith who serve together like a family on mission with Jesus to the people that you are called to serve. And we call it missional community. Don't be a lone ranger. Number 4 will be expectations and requirements. All of our chaplains are considered ordained. And this is a big deal. We do not take this lightly, and neither should you. In this section, we cover our statement of faith, which you and your pastor must agree with. We will cover our chaplain's code of conduct and ethics along with membership expectations, and we expect our chaplains that they will continue their growth. There are standards for personal spiritual development, growing knowledge, growing ability, and a commitment to excellence and continue in growing in the craft of chaplaincy should you choose to become one. Section 5 will be the roles and work of a chaplain, and we start with defining terms like spiritual life. What does that mean? And how does spiritual distress produce symptoms in someone's emotions and their social relationships and their religious practices? What will your chaplain work actually look like? And that will depend entirely on the people you are called to serve. Serving patients in a hospital is vastly different from serving inmates in a prison or in the military or a nursing home or end of life or police and fire. Though each setting is very different, everyone has common standards for all chaplains, but very different approaches and constraints in how you do what you do. So who and where will you serve? Section 6, the chaplain's commitment to growth. You'll learn all about the spiritual growth cycle because our chaplains are expected to make continuous progress in spiritual maturity. So what does progress look like for you? How will you move away from unhealthy character traits towards healthy ones? Now, this will help you understand what it means to be a growing disciple and also ever-improving chaplain who becomes more effective at the craft over time while becoming the person God made you to be. Section 7 will cover services, weddings, funerals. Chaplains perform various types of services and ceremonies in secular settings outside of the context of church. We provide appropriate rituals of prayer, blessings, weddings, funerals, while offering spiritual care to people who may be in many different types of situations. How do you do such things, and what kinds of things should the Christian chaplain never do? Final section 8 will discuss clinical pastoral education and life coaching. For those interested in professional chaplaincy, we recommend CPE. Both lay and professionals should learn how to make progress at becoming the person God wants them to be, and this is especially true of our chaplains. So this final section will encourage you to continue learning, the kind of learning that can be life-changing. And our CPE program includes significant gospel-centered life coaching. Having a life coach is an effective way to make progress. Being a life coach for someone else will help them make progress too. Do you know how to mentor others? This certification, this course in the basics of chaplaincy is one of the courses, just one of two, that are required for becoming an ordained chaplain with Christian chaplains in coaching. We teach chaplaincy from within a biblical, Protestant, gospel-centered Christian worldview. You will also need to complete the certificate in biblical counseling for grief, because everyone will deal with people who are grieving, and also agree with our statement of faith, provide a pastor recommendation, personal reference, pass a background check, agree to our code of conduct in writing, and complete a personal interview in order to be accepted into membership as one of our ordained chaplains. You can do this. Let the journey begin.